It is Game 3 of this National League Championship Series. With the series tied at a game apiece, we're in St. Louis. Glad you're with us tonight on Fox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. At the beginning of this series, when we were in San Francisco, we talked about how this series would be pitched. Tim talked a lot about how the starters wouldn't go deep. It would be on the bullpens. That's the way Game 1 went. Game 2, Ryan Vogelsong, the starter for the Giants, was fantastic. 7 strong innings, and he was the main reason the Giants even the series coming here at a game apiece. Tim McCarver slides on in, and if there was one matchup in this LCS, we thought, you know what, that's a game where the starters could and should go deep. It'd be this one between Matt Cain and Kyle Lohse.
There is no question about it. A pair of aces open tonight, so get your poker face on. They both won 16 games, and they were similar in other ways also. A lot of fly balls. They're both fly ball pitchers. Good change-ups and a lot of late movement. And if these guys are on their game tonight, I agree with A.J. Pierzynski. I think they're going to go deep into the game.
We shall see. We are in St. Louis as this series rolls into the Midwest. And this matchup, the two aces, Kyle Lohse for the Cardinals, taking on Matt Cain, the undisputed ace of the Giants. Game 3 coming up next on Fox. Starting lineup for the Giants, Taco Bell. Sometimes you've got to live Moss. It's the way Tim McCarver goes through life. Angel Pagan leads it off in center. Marco Scutaro bats second at second. Pablo Sandoval hits third. Then Buster Posey, Hunter Pence in right, Brandon Belt at first, Gregor Blanco in left. Brandon Crawford is the shortstop, and Matt Cain, one of the best right-handers in the game, is on the mound, and you can make that case for Kyle Lohse in 2012. Fantastic, 16-3. And so far this postseason, he has been very good against Atlanta and in Washington against the Nationals.
Cardinals started their history in 1892, and Kyle Lohse has the best winning percentage ever in a St. Louis uniform. Similar to Cain, first pitch strikes, and he can carve you up. Great control on both corners.
Opening pitch will be brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And a nice moment during the pregame introductions when the two teams were along the baselines. Matt Holliday looking over at Marco Scutaro, giving a thumbs up and saying, "Play good today, my bad." He did call the clubhouse after that slide, and as Aaron Andrews said during our pregame show, was bothered enough to call the clubhouse after it bothered him in game 1. Scutaro came out of the ball game. As Pagan goes up there ready to hack, he is led off with a couple of home runs this postseason, and that includes game 2 of the NLCS.
First pitch strike, no secret. Only Cliff Lee and Jordan Zimmerman of the Washington Nationals threw more first pitch strikes than Lohse.
Here's pitch number 2, and that's a ball outside. Home plate umpire tonight, or this afternoon, however you want to look at it, is Bill Miller. He's calling the balls and strikes. We'll give you the rest of the group when we get a second. Strike 2. That second is right now. Greg Gibson at first, Ted Barrett at second, Jerry Lane at third. Gary Darling is the crew chief, so his name is in yellow. Chris Guccione is down the right field line. He worked the plate game 2. Giants are hitting just .217 as a team during this postseason. That is not the fault of the guy on deck, Scutaro. One away. And let's hear how the crowd reacts here in St. Louis with the at-bat of Scutaro. They gave him a nice ovation during the pregame introduction. Uneventful. But we gave the opportunity. So 1 out, nobody on. It was a letdown. It's like Rocky 3.
Godfather 3.
Godfather. You trumped me. With one out, a strike hits the outside corner. Scudero's been fantastic since picked up on July 27th from Colorado. Hit .339 after the break. Like he was backing out of the box and then got in there and swung.
You talk about hitting on the run. He backed out with the left foot, tried to call time. Now watch this. Comes in. Nope, he's not going to give it to me, so I'll foul it off.
It's like softball. With one out, nobody on, the 0-2 popped up. Out behind second, in comes Jay. 2 out. And just if you're unaware of what we're talking about with regard to game 2, first inning, Scutero, who just flied out to center with his takeout. And it's unbelievable to look at these replays and then know that Scutero is good enough to start this game.
That's really true. The way that left knee buckled, he had MRIs of his left hip and his left knee. They're bruised, contusions, but he's fine enough to play.
That's ball 1. We showed you what Holiday did today. That's one thing. I think the way the Giants handled it after the game, leading into this game 3, has been tremendous. From Bruce Bochy, and that's no surprise. Their manager, that's just the way he is. But that guy, Scutero, the quotes, he said, first of all, he felt like he was hit by a train. And then he said, the only retribution I want is for my pitcher to pitch 9 shutout innings. And then went on to say, Holiday's a great guy. This was base hit into center. Loesch got a piece of that on its way to center. But when Scutero said he's a great guy, I don't think he tried to hurt me. It pretty much put the whole thing to bed.
That's right. And Bruce Bochy had his say also. He said, I thought it was an illegal slide, but I don't want my guys to have the focus on Holiday because this Cardinal lineup can beat you in many, many ways.
But from Scutero to Bochy, those two guys stepped out in front for the Giants and really represented their team in baseball very well.
Absolutely.
1 on, 2 out. The batter is Buster Posey.
That's outside.
You don't even need me. As you can hear the home plate umpire, Bill Miller, who is of full voice here this afternoon, he said that was outside. So you know it's ball 1. Posey hit .336, led baseball, not just the National League, with his average. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike with Hunter Pence on deck.
This Giant battery today started the All-Star game. Matt Cain in Kansas City. Buster Posey behind the plate. Batted .373 in the second half with 65 RBIs.
Here's the 1-1. And it's worth pointing out, we've shown the injury that ended his season last year in late May. The Giants didn't know how he was going to come back. They've given him some time off by playing him at first. But here he is basically catching every day, and his average was better in the second half than the first half, which is remarkable.
It really is.
Here's the 2-1. Fly ball into right. Easy for Beltran, the former Giants. Easily catches out number 3 through a half in St. Louis. Series tied, a game apiece, no score. Turns out to be a gorgeous day. If the rain will stay away, it might hit around 5:30, but we'll worry about that later. The starting lineup for the Cardinals brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live, Moss. Same group all postseason long. John Jay, Beltran, Holiday, Alan Craig, Yadier Molina, David Freese at third, Descalso, Cosma, and Loesch, the bottom 3. Here's Matt Cain, and if you don't know about him, even though that ERA won't knock you over this postseason, realize he's one of the best right-handers in all of baseball.
Last year, 21 1/3 innings and no earned runs allowed in the postseason. Consistent and durable. One of 23 perfect games pitched in Major League Baseball history. He did that on June 13th of this year.
And the first in the history of the Giants. A strike is into John Jay. Cardinals hit .285 as a group at home. Very good average. And Jay was a big part of that. The best home average in the league, and he gets hit on the right thigh. And the Cardinals put their leadoff man on with a hit batsman. That's not what Matt Cain had in mind. Is this one
No way.
inside?
No way.
Oh, no. I don't mean it that way. I just mean that's not the start he had in mind.
Yeah, obviously.
I like to point out the obvious.
Yeah, well, I mean, it may not be so obvious. Bruce Bochy said he did meet with Matt Cain. They talked. He wouldn't obviously tell us what he talked about, but maybe that was a message. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Strike one to Beltran.
But if it was, it's certainly over right now.
Beltran is 7 for 18 against Cain, and that one almost went to the backstop. What a play by Posey.
Whoa. Setting up inside, and Posey having to reach way to his left to make the play.
What in the world was that?
He slipped on the rubber, I believe. I think a spike was hung up on the pitching rubber.
But what a good play by Posey.
Absolutely, especially when you're looking for the ball inside.
1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first, nobody out. And there's a strike over the inside corner. 1 and 2. Here's that pitch. Yeah, that foot slid on top of the rubber. Beltran grounds a double play ball to second, and the Giants turn it 2 out. 4-6-3 with Scutaro feeding Crawford, who's getting better and better at short.
Well, what made that double play was that arm of Crawford's to first base. Watch how Jay has to get down. We talked about that the other night. That second baseman don't have a chance to protect themselves on double play balls, but the shortstop can drop down and keep that runner away from it. And that's exactly what Crawford did.
Now Holiday, 2 out, nobody on. Fastball for a strike. Talking to Matt Holliday before the game, he said there are certain guys that throw 92, 93. It feels like 92, 93. With Cain, it's 92, 93, but it feels harder. With late life, there's 93, and that's strike 2.
Late life is the best life for a pitcher, because the hitter can't determine what the ball's going to do out of his hand. They've already committed the last 15 feet. It does something different than they think it will do.
There's his friend Scutaro. And Cain faces only 3 in the first. Hit Jay to start the inning, and after 1, no score. Right fielder Matt Carpenter takes over in right. Carpenter can play all over. Here's one into center for John Jay. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second off the bat of Hunter Pence. Automatically, Tim, with Beltran, you think knees because he's had procedures done on both knees, but we'll wait and see, and Ken Rosenthal is on it down in the dugout. Here's the double play he grounded into.
A lot of times reaching for a ball like that will strain something. We'll see.
So that is a big weapon, a guy with 14 career postseason home runs, and a guy who's hit well against Matt Cain out of the ballgame. 91-mile-per-hour pitch from Kyle Lohse to Brandon Belt, strike 1. Lohse is a free agent to be. 34-year-old right-hander from Chico, California. Won the wild card game in Atlanta to get the Cardinals to the division series. Good pitch there. Strike 2, and then got a no decision in Washington in game 4, but he went 7, allowed 1 run on 2 hits. A LaRoche home run was the only blemish really on his record. The 0-2. Ball 1.
Now, with these two guys, with Lohse and Cain, you could throw the radar gun away. Forget about it. Almost means nothing. They're going to be around 90, 91, maybe 92. But as we talked about, late movement, and it's almost it's insignificant to talk about speed. These guys are truly, the true sense of the word, pitchers.
Belt gets a piece to stay up there 2-2. Kyle Lohse came up with the Twins in 2001, was with Cincinnati and Philly in 07, and then signed late in the offseason during spring training with the Cardinals in 2008 and went 15-6. Dealt with injuries in 09 and 2010 with his forearm, and pretty good last year. That ball was close but called ball 3, a full count. This year 16-3. Originally a pick by the Cubs, an ERA of 2.86 for Kyle Lohse. His 3-2 pitch to Belt. Good at bat by Brandon Belt. They appeal down to third base, and you could hear the appeal. Jerry Lane said no swing. First walk by Lohse.
Why was that a good at bat by Belt? Well, the count was 0-2, and you remember that second strike was similar to the 3-2 pitch. 4 straight balls after 2 strikes.
Now Gregor Blanco, and we haven't really talked a whole lot about why it's Blanco in the lineup the second half of the season. He got the job upon the suspension of Melky Cabrera. Lost the job for a little while, got it back, and now he's been very good this postseason for the Giants. Cabrera got a 50-game suspension. On August 15th, he was the All-Star Game MVP, but was caught with use of the banned substance. Here's the first pitch, and Blanco fouls it away. He's been since reinstated from the restricted list, so he's on the 40-man roster for the Giants in case they want that exclusive negotiation window with Cabrera, who's a free agent to be. That happens after the World Series. He was eligible to be activated going into this NLCS. The suspension's up. The Giants elected not to with the long layoff. 1 on, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch. A little bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Giants turned the Melky Cabrera situation into a non-story. Of course, the decision was made easier because they were playing so well without him.
Ended up running away with the NL West. 8-game division win. Craig steps, throws, safe. And it's a runner at second, 2 out.
Ball was not hit sharply by Blanco, and we talked about it the other night. It does not look like it, but Belt can run. He had 12 stolen bases in 14 tries and just beats that play.
He was safe. Good call by Ted Barrett, the second base umpire. I think. Looked like the foot got there before the tag. Not much of a complaint from Cosma.
Yeah, he looks safe. And
now Crawford with a base open. Matt Cain on deck. Cain can handle the bat. Strike 1. Crawford, in 8 games here at Busch Stadium, is a career .313 hitter. He's driven home 2 this series, 3 overall this postseason. Giants trying to strike first here in game 3. 1 ball, 1 strike. Point is, even with first base open and the pitcher on deck, Cain is no easy out.
He has 6 lifetime home runs. A lot of power. Hits a baseball like he does a golf ball.
Here's a 1-1.
That's outside.
2-1. Cain, who is from Alabama, lives in Mesa, Arizona. Not just because he can work out and throw baseballs around over the offseason, but so he can golf. Let's be honest.
That's right.
Here's the 2-1. 3-1.
It's hard to hit in a situation with first base open because major league hitters are used to hitting strikes, not balls. That's why hitting 8th is very, very difficult in the National League because the pitcher's hitting behind you.
3-1 from Loesch to Crawford. Change up to make it a full count.
Good changeup. You can see Molina shifting outside. The ball is down the middle of the plate, but a very, very good changeup.
Just got a piece.
You notice how Molina sets up late with a runner on at second base. Most major league catchers aware of the fact that the runner on at second, if he doesn't give the pitch, but here it is again, he's not setting up until the pitch is on its way. A lot of major league base runners will give location when they're on at second.
To the hitter.
Right.
That's a foul again.
So the way to prevent that is for the catcher to set up when the pitch is on its way. Then it's too late for the guy at second to give location.
There's not much that gets by either one of these catchers in this series.
Oh man, are they fun to watch.
Molina and Posey. "3-2." Outside to put 2 on. 2 walks in the inning, and we'll give you a look at the defense for Mike Matheny, and that has changed. It's now an outfield of Matt Holliday in left, John Jay in center, and Matt Carpenter in right. With Freese, Cosma, Descalso, and Alan Craig around the infield. Yadier Molina catching Kyle Loesch. Ball 1. Loesch walked only 38 all year. So his control was impeccable. He's walked 2 in this inning. That one was a no give in on 3-2 to Crawford. Now it's Kane. Good tailing pitch, strike 1.
Pretty good turn of the phrase, my friend. There are walks, intentional walks, and now no give-in walks. That's good. Fun.
Glad you
I love it.
jumped on it for me. Thanks. That's pretty wide strike. Kane didn't like it. He'll like it when he's got a ball in his hand and not a bat.
Call them both ways, says Kane.
1-2. Why not keep going out there? Ball 2. On deck is Pagan if Kane can deliver or get on some way. Scoreless game, second inning. Still 2-2. Brandon Belt, the lead man at second, with Brandon Crawford at first. Another 2-2 pitch. Inning over. Second strikeout of the game for Kyle Loesch. And the Giants have stranded 3. Bottom of the second. Dramatic music. The heart of the order must be coming up for St. Louis. No score. Take a look at the weather. 67 degrees. The wind is, it says, out of the south at 14 miles per hour. It's picked up quite a bit over the past 20 minutes. We'll give you more on the weather as we go through the bottom of the second as Alan Craig stands in. 4 of his 5 career postseason home runs have been here at Busch Stadium. This is the part of the order where during the postseason they've struggled with runners in scoring position. So they're looking for something to get started or for this group Holiday, Craig, and Molina to plate some runs when there's something going on the bases. 0-2 pitch. Cain looks like he's brought his good stuff. It misses up and away. 1-2. But there's good numbers for Allen Craig here at home in his young postseason career. Left side for Sandoval. 1 out. And we told you that Carlos Beltran is out of the game. And for the reason why, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, there was an immediate scramble in the Cardinals dugout after the first inning. Turns out that it is some kind of knee issue with Carlos Beltran. Not sure of the extent yet or the exact nature of it. Guys, you remember before the game, we spoke with Mike Matheny, and he said Beltran, as an older player, very proactive about any ailments he might have, and sometimes looked like he is wrapped like the Michelin Man.
Yeah, we saw him all wrapped up as Molina's on with a 1-out hit. First St. Louis hit of the day, and that went right back through the box. And over the back of Matt Cain, 1 on, 1 out.
You know, with Yadier Molina, you almost have to pitch him on the first pitch like it's 0-2 or 1-2. He's the 4th most prolific first ball hitter in the major leagues. And that one a liner for the first Cardinal hit.
1 on, 1 out. You saw Beltran wrapped up prior to game 2 in San Francisco, and then, as Mike Matheny said it, you know, I don't even really look at him after games with as much ice as he has on his body, because, as Kenny said, he's very proactive, and if he feels something, he goes to get it worked on right away. Here's Freese. So whatever he felt in the knees, he is lost for the rest of game 3. Matt Carpenter is in his spot. David Freese thrilled the St. Louis fans last year in the NLCS and in the World Series. He's got a .459 home batting average during the postseason as Posey keeps that near the plate. That's the 4th best all time. .459 here in St. Louis during the postseason.
And when you say home, you mean it, right? From St. Louis, went to Lafayette High here in St. Louis.
Gave up the game at one point in college. And then got tired of sitting around and got back after it, and here he is. The 1-1. Fly ball into right center. Who wants it? Hunter Pence, 2 out. And we'll give you the Ford keys to the game.
They are easy to remember keys. We try to make them as memorable as possible. There they are. For the Giants, continue to be tough on the road. They have scored more runs on the road than any National League team, over 5 a game. And for the Cardinals, home is where the hits are. Tied with 2 other teams for the best home record in the NL.
Descalso takes ball 1 outside. The Giants are obviously 3-0 during this postseason on the road, winning the 3 straight in Cincinnati to get here, but they've won their last 5 postseason games on the road, going back to the World Series in 2010 when they clinched in Texas. It's the longest streak in franchise history. 2-0 on Descalso. The way it's gone so far this postseason for St. Louis, when Descalso hits, the Cardinals win. When he doesn't, they lose. He's 0 for 1 as he pops it up behind short. Crawford is there, and that will do it for St. Louis in the second. They get their first hit, strand their first runner after 2 no score. .com/tickets. At the plate is Angel Pagan. Top of the order for the Giants. Scudero, then Pablo Sandoval. The next 2. Pagan struck out his first time. And both starters appear to be on here in the early going. Strike 1. December 7th was the date that Angel Pagan officially became a member of the San Francisco Giants in a trade with the Mets. He's been very good down the stretch, and he is flying one to left center for a base hit. Leadoff man is on for San Francisco, their second hit of the game. Pagan stole 29 during the regular season, so Lohse will keep an eye on him at first.
That's a middle of the plate fastball, something that Lohse does rarely, but he did it there. And Pagan, the leadoff hitter, with a single here in the third.
Scutaro now, then Sandoval, then Buster Posey.
This is an ideal situation to move the runner. Scutaro, a great contact hitter, toughest to strike out in the National League this year.
Shortened up. Took a strike. You're talking more about hit and run.
Yeah, I think you opt to send the runner. There's too much speed at first base to bunt with Scutaro. Plus, he's too good a hitter. Molina with a great arm behind the plate, but you assume Scutaro's going to make contact.
There he goes. There's the hit and run with a foul ball. Strike two.
He almost took that ball out of Molina's hand or mitt. You can see Pagan taking a look, and then he looks over his shoulder, and it was a foul ball.
Alan Craig has played third. He's played the outfield. Moves around pretty well over at first, but clearly foul. And now 2 strikes on Scutaro. Fastball misses, ball 1. Pagan, a career .362 hitter against the Cardinals, is 1 for 2 in this game. Blocked by Molina, ball 2.
Is it possible Bruce Bochy could put the hit and run on again, knowing that Lohse is always around the plate? Scutaro once again is a contact hitter. The answer is yes.
The 2-2. That's a base hit into right. A fair ball down the line. Pagan will go to third. The throw is to the second baseman, Descalso. It's a double for Scutaro, second and third, nobody out.
How in the world did he make contact? That ball had to be 6 inches outside. Not only good hitting, but excellent base running, knowing that Matt Carpenter just came in the game. He's normally a first baseman, only 15 starts, actually 10 starts in right field this year. Look how far outside that pitch is. How in the world did he make contact? But a huge hit again for Scutaro. No ill effects of that hip and knee. Going to second then.
So Scutaro's right in the middle of it again for the Giants. Second and third, nobody out. Sandoval. Pablo singled his first time, takes the ball. Here's a golden opportunity for the Giants. Second and third, nobody out with their 3-4 hitters. Here comes a 1-0. That's a strike, and Sandoval was leaning back. A lot of movement there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that inside fastball stood him up. Pablo complained about that pitch, and he had a point. Ball was inside.
Here comes a 1-1 from Lohse. Up the middle to his left, Cosmo. Run scores, 1-0 Giants. Over to third is Scutaro, 1 out. And it's an RBI ground out for Sandoval, who drove home 63 in the regular season. That's his 4th of this postseason.
As importantly, he not only scores the first run of the ball game, but sends Scutaro to third base. And now the Cardinals have to pull their infield in.
And And it's Scudero at third, one out for Buster Posey. Posey flied to right his first time.
Outside.
Ball one. Buster Posey is a career .336 hitter with runners on.
Outside, 2-0.
2-0.
You think about it, baseball is a game of firsts. First run, first strike on the hitter, first out of an inning.
Here's a 2-0 from Loesch.
That's outside, 3-0.
Missed the outside corner, 3-0. On deck is Pence, who does not have an RBI this postseason. Kane wondering how big this inning will be. Now they're just going to put Posey on. The intentional pass for first and third. One out, Pence coming up.
That's not a bad move by Mike Matheny because Hunter Pence is such a free swinger. We talked about it in those 2 games in San Francisco. Try to throw him a pitch he can't reach.
First and third, one out. Ball one outside. The infielders on that first pitch at least were about halfway.
Reason you do that is in case a ground ball is not hit sharply to a middle infielder, they do have the option of coming home with the ball instead of going for 2.
2-0.
Pence so far confusing that strategy, huh?
Not chasing the first 2 out of the zone.
No.
Pitch number 57 of the day coming from Loesch. Slowly hit to short. Out. Out. Got them both. Double play. And through all that, Loesch and the Cardinals just give up 1. We go to the bottom of the third in game 3. 8-9-1 for St. Louis. Could have been a bigger inning for the Giants. Good pitching by Kyle Loesch to get the double play ball off the bat of Hunter Pence after the walk to Buster Posey. Ball one outside to Cosmo. Cosmo has liked hitting here in St. Louis since he was called up in late August. .364 in this ballpark. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cosmo, then Loesch, then Jay. Pete 1 for 7 in this NLCS. That's upstairs, 2-1. Kane lost game 1 of the division series at home against Cincinnati 5-2. He won the decisive game 5 in Cincinnati 6-4. Good fastball. Strike 2. Here's a 2-2. Just down and in. Full count. Went up to get it. May have chased ball 4 and flies into right. That's Pence. 1 out.
We talked earlier about how a shortstop can protect himself by throwing the ball to first base. This is a double play turned earlier by Brandon Crawford. You saw John Jay had to get down, and Daniel Descalso gets Buster Posey down. That clears the way for the double play to end the 3rd inning.
Big double play induced by the guy at the plate, Kyle Loesch. Loesch 6 out of 64 during the regular season. hitless in the postseason in 2 starts. Pop up for Belt. 2 out. Who will become a legend this October? Cast your postseason legend vote at MLBFanCave.com. Batter will be Jon Jay, who was hit by a pitch. His first time up, got hit on the right knee. Then he was in that double play, hit into by Beltran, and Beltran hurt his knee going down the first baseline. He's out of the game. So on deck is Matt Carpenter instead of one of the best postseason performers to come along in a long time, Carlos Beltran.
2 doubles and a home run in this NLCS.
Little flare into left. That's going to drop for a hit. Jay is on with 2 out. Got it off the hands and drove it over the head of Crawford at short.
Jon Jay with that unusual hitch in his swing. Normally guys in the major leagues are not affected with a swing like that. Most hitters trigger back by bringing the hands back. Jay goes down and then up. It's a very unusual style of hitting, but he's done very well with it this year.
Here's Matt Carpenter, first at bat, 1 for 5 this postseason. Became a reliable bat as a part-time starter and bench player for Mike Matheny during the regular season. He's been able to drive the ball much better here in 2012 than he did when he came up last year. Got a little more pop. Strike 1, good pitch.
Once again, a look at Jon Jay. Most guys go back with their hands. Jon goes down almost to his number and then back up. That's a lot to do before trying to hit a major league fastball.
Carpenter, good breaking ball, strike 2. And out of the zone, 1 and 2. Carpenter during the regular season hit .294, hit 6 home runs, 46 RBIs. As a pinch hitter, by the way, was 8 for 31. That's not his role here. He's now in right, batting the number 2 spot. And a check that gets away. Will go out of play. Down to second base goes Jon Jay, and he's in scoring position with 2 out.
I think it was proper for Matt Cain to throw to first because I think Jay was going. I think he enticed that throw, that little bending of the knee, and Cain threw to first base errantly. I think he was definitely going. So the idea of throwing over there was right. You could see first base coach James Maloney hit the deck.
Runner at second, 2 out. That goes around the plate, 2 and 2.
I call him James Maloney. Chris Maloney. I beg your pardon, Chris.
Here is a 2-2 pitch. High fly ball to right. He's in the lineup now. 2-1 St. Louis.
Are you kidding me? He gets up this morning and he figures, well, Carlos is in there again. And sure enough, in the second inning, he goes in his first plate appearance, home run. First plate appearance in postseason play.
That's outside, ball one.
Man.
Replacing the guy that's got 14 career postseason home runs. They get the home run out of the number 2 spot. But it's Matt Carpenter as Matt Holliday follows it with a fly ball to right. Postseason's funny, isn't it? You just never know who's going to step up and surprise. It's been Cosma, Descalso, now Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals with a 2-run shot, 2-1 after 3. Shot in the bottom of the 3rd. Put St. Louis on top here in Game 3, and there's Matt Carpenter getting a curtain call at about 4:02 Central Time, and that's well before he thought he might get an opportunity to do that, if at all, replacing Carlos Beltran. There's Belt. Took a strike, now a ball, 1-1.
I'd like to correct something I said at the bottom of the inning. At Matt Carpenter's first hit of postseason, it's his first hit of the NLCS, his first official at bat.
He had appeared in the postseason prior, 1 for 5, but that's his 2nd and 3rd RBIs, but without a doubt his first home run. Belt reaching for it. Descalso on 2 hops. 1 out. Today's game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Test drive our nationwide 4G network. By E-Trade. Works beautifully. And by Pizza Hut. Make it great. 1 out, nobody on. Gregor Blanco will try and get something started. He grounded out to first. His first time up. Ball 1. Remember, in the top of the inning, the Giants had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Got 1 run on the RBI ground out by Sandoval. Then pitched around Posey, put him on, and got the double play ball off the bat of Pence.
So the Giants score 1 run in the top of the inning. The Cardinals scored 2 runs in the bottom after Kane retired the first 2 batters.
A little 2-out flare hit. Aaron throwing a pickoff and then a home run. 1-1 pitch to Blanco. Fouled back. By the way, Matt Carpenter in his career against Matt Cain, it's a small sample size, but he's 5 for 5 now against Matt Cain with that home run and 4 RBIs. The Carpenter who grew up a coach's son. His dad, a high school baseball coach, taught him that swing, refined it, and as we said, worked hard over the offseason to drive the ball more. That's his 7th home run this year, 6 in the regular season. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That time Blanco tried to call timeout, and he was almost, after not getting timeout granted, rung up on strike 3. Instead, it's a full count. Loesch huffing and puffing. He'll have to do it again. Count stays full. Blanco 6 out of 22 this postseason. 2 hits in 8 at-bats in this LCS. Another foul.
Xavier Nady would start for Bruce Bochy in left field against a left-hander, but the Cardinals don't have it. The only left-handed pitcher on their roster, Mark Zepsinski.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Blanco in a battle with Loesch. And the battle will continue. The Cardinals, since divisional play began back in 1969, only the 5th team to make it back to the NLCS after a World Series. Only the 75-76 Reds repeated in that case. Mike Matheny in his first year trying to back up what happened last season in an unforgettable October. A one-out walk puts Blanco on, tying run aboard, and that's 3 walks plus the intentional walk handed out by Loesch. And this stat kind of caught my attention. We've been doing all these postseason games, but for the Cardinals, that's the success that this organization has had. La Russa is the manager, and first Walt Jocketty, now John Mozeliak is general manager. Bill DeWitt and company in ownership. 7th LCS since 2000. Here's Crawford. As Molina sets up inside. A throw down to first and a block by Alan Craig.
Terrific play by Craig. And that's Molina's favorite pickoff move. He had 3 this year. 44 for his career. And that in-between hop played nicely by Craig. The reason that Molina loves that play is the left-handed hitter protects him. And the guy at first can't see that Molina, his feet are so quick. And he can't see that Molina's going to throw to first.
Hard hit base hit. Crawford is on. Going first to third is Blanco, who can fly. And now the tying run at third with only 1 out. Crawford on base for the 2nd time in this game.
Again, a middle of the plate changeup. And it's by Descalso quickly.
Brings in an interesting situation for Bruce Bochy. First and third, 1 out, pitcher up, but the pitcher can hit. He handles the bat well. How do you want to play it?
Let him swing. You don't bunt here with 1 out.
The bunt is foul.
Yeah, I don't agree with that play. If there's nobody out, then that's fine. Obviously, it's Bruce Bochy's decision. And he had, he had a grimace on his face. I wonder if Matt Cain missed the bunt sign, or took the bunt sign as a sign to bunt it. But now, if it's successful, it's 2nd and 3rd and 2 out. If there were nobody out, it'd be 1 out if he gets the job done.
See if they go away from the bunt. Nope. And now he's in the hole 1-2. This is doing the Cardinals a favor, especially with Cain not being able to bunt one fair.
I think so. I mean, the other side of the coin is if he does swing away and hits into a double play, then they're out of the inning. But that's remote.
Opportunity for the Giants. Get into a big double play last inning. And a bunt again. And almost offered at it. Did not. Ball 1.
How many times do you see a catcher ask a home plate umpire to check with the first base umpire to see if the guy bunted around on it? I thought he did.
Looked like he did.
I thought he went after that ball. It was a late takeaway. Molina asked home plate umpire Bill Miller to check with Greg Gibson, and the Giants got the call.
First and third, 1 out. The 1-2 pitch. And a step to third, look to first to see if Blanco was going to take off, and to see if Cain was going to square around a bunt, and he started to. Blanco at third, he can really run. So can Crawford at first. 1 out. 2-1 St. Louis, 4th inning. And the bunt is perfect. Loesch checks the runner, gets the out. And the sacrifice is good with Loesch feeding Descalso. 2nd and third, 2 out.
So a 2-strike bunt successful. Obviously, with nobody out, you're going to bunt. But some managers differ. I'd never liked that play. 1st and third, and have a pitcher sacrifice a guy over with 1 out.
We'll see what happens now. 2 out. It takes a hit from Pagan, who's 1 for 2. Giants have already left 4 runners on. Giants trying to regain the lead. Good swing by Pagan, but straight one. He was gunning for home run number 3 this postseason.
Good swing, good pitch. That's not in the middle of the plate, on the handle.
Strike 2. Smothered by Molina. Pagan drove home 56 during the regular season. Was not in the leadoff spot all year. Looking for his second straight hit of this game. Just outside. With the dangerous Marcos Scutaro on deck.
Umpire dressed in black. 45,000 umpires dressed in red didn't agree with that.
Looked outside to count 2-2.
Good call by Bill Miller.
As you look ahead in this series, it seems like, even though Bruce Bochy has kept it quiet, Lincecum gets the ball tomorrow in Game 4. The easy choice for the Cardinals is Adam Wainwright, who we will visit with theoretically momentarily. And then Game 5 is up in the air. The rain out here tonight could have changed a lot of that. No rain yet. Here's a 2-2. Fly ball into center for Jet. So they bunt with Kane, and the Giants have stranded 6. 2-1 St. Louis into the bottom of the 4th. The pitchers and catchers in this Game 3. Loesch, Molina, Kane, Posey. And there's Matt Cain. A live shot as he takes the mound in the bottom of the 4th inning. And for St. Louis will be Craig Molina Freeze. They lead 2-1. Joining us down in the corner of the dugout is the affable, electric Adam Wainwright. Hi, Adam.
Electric. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
With his buddy, huh?
With your buddy for
Yeah, I got Fuki Mambo right here.
Yeah. How does he talk?
He talking like this.
Here's a fly ball into right. Foul territory. Long run. Pence. Man, he ran a mile to get that ball. 1 out. Craig is 0 for 2. Let's talk about what you're seeing out of Kyle Loesch. First of all, I know you appreciate, Adam, when a pitcher gets into trouble and then has the ability of making that key pitch to get out of trouble, and that's happened for Kyle in this game.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, a lot of times the difference in a win and a loss is avoiding that crooked number. And, you know, he gave up the 1 run, but he did a great job getting that ground ball double play earlier. And last inning he got out of there unscathed. So, you know, I mean, you hold the other team to 1 run an inning, you know, when you're giving up your runs, then you're going to have a great chance to win.
Have you talked, by the way, there's Furcal who's got the bad elbow. You talked to Furcal about having a bad elbow? You know all about it, having had.
Oh, I don't have a bad elbow anymore.
No, I know. Here's a fly ball into the corner, foul, but hopefully he can avoid going under the knife. Isn't that the plan?
Yeah, it is. And yeah, that's a tough surgery. That's a tough rehab assignment. But, you know, luckily Furcal is so strong and so mentally tough that he he probably just have to avoid all that and just come back and
talk about playing up to the audience. Playing up to the audience. Hey, it's an interesting stat we put in front of your face and Adrian Chambers and for Kyle's faces as well, that last time we saw you in the postseason here on Fox was back in '06 when you were closing games, and now you have a chance to start Game 4 tomorrow night. How much do you look forward to that effort tomorrow?
I am fired up for that. You know, it's exciting times here in October. This is what we play 162 for. We want to get to this position. So everybody in this clubhouse and on this team and in this dugout right now is fired up to be where we are, no doubt.
Hey, you've had a good start against Washington, then a clunker in Game 5. People talk about innings pitched and all that stuff coming off Tommy John. How's your strength at this point?
Strength is good, and you know, I could have pitched 9 shutout 2 times in a row and then had a bad start, and somebody would have said, oh, he's pitched too many innings. So I don't worry about what people say. I know how I feel. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm going to go out there and compete my tail off.
Yeah, you're up over 200 innings now for the season. Molina grounded out to short. Freeze is coming up. How about a word, and this is going quick, so we won't keep you too long. How about a word about pitching to this Giants lineup and what the overall game plan is without revealing too much?
No scouting reports, Joe. No scouting reports. No, it's a tough team, tough lineup.
What a bold question that was, huh, Adam?
Here's a base hit into center off the bat of David Freese.
David did that to try to
make you
keep me on the air. That's a good man right there. Good
under pressure.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for this team and the Giants. And
don't go into cliche. You know what? Just save it.
You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. And we're just going to go out there and fight as hard as we can.
Yeah, that's great. You sound like you're singing a Jewel song all of a sudden. Hey, what do you call your manager when you see him in the clubhouse?
Mr. Sir.
Why is that?
I told him earlier this year, you know, I couldn't decide whether I was going to call him Mr. Matheny or just Sir. And I figured out I had double respect for him than I have for most guys, so I'll just call him Mr. Sir.
Used to be your battery mate, right, Adam?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Hey. Yeah, he was the first guy I ever threw a bullpen to in the Cardinal uniform was Mike Matheny.
Here is a pitch high and tight to Descalso. It's funny to watch a pitcher, and it's just natural instinct and reaction. We saw Kane stick his hand out for that ball back up the middle. That's not wise on that. It's for
depends on the situation.
Yeah, okay. Oh, not a bad point by you.
Yeah, if it's bases loaded, 2 outs, maybe it is a good time to stick that bare hand out.
Kane just did it moments ago. Here's our look at it. You don't have a monitor, but that's not going to get it done. Hey, real quick, and then literally we'll let you go on the base hit by Freese. What is the thing you guys do where the pitchers look at each other and put their fist up and their forearm in front of their face? What is that?
Just saying we're strong.
Okay.
Too strong.
Who introduced that to the group?
That's a great question. I'm not real sure. One of the knucklehead started pitchers. We last year was, I think a couple years ago with Todd Wellemeyer, we had these little things where we would do our hands kind of like this, and it was like dolphin flaps. I don't know what that means.
We missed it. What was it?
It was kind of like this.
Okay.
Dolphin flaps. You know, it doesn't really make a lick of sense at all, but
anything to keep it fun.
Now we're just strong.
Anything to keep it fun down there. Good luck tomorrow night.
All right, thank you. Fugi, you want to say something?
That's out.
Have a good one. All right, guys.
All right, thanks, Adam. Former 20-game winner, former 19-game winner, and coming off Tommy John surgery. And comfortable in his own skin.
Oh, yeah. Well, both of them, really.
Yeah, we've had Carpenter, Kane, now Wainwright.
Yeah.
It's been good to visit with those guys, and our thanks to their PR staffs. Here's Descalso. Fly ball into left, and that means that we are headed to inning number 5. It's a 2-1 game. St. Louis on top. Back after this from your local Fox station. Give you a look at the pitcher profiles and a comparison brought to you by Pizza Hut. Matt Cain has been more economical with his pitches. Loesch is up to 81 as we go into the 5th inning. Cain has allowed 2 earned runs. Loesch just 1, and he's been able to pitch out of situations. Fastball strike, and we're underway with Scudero, Sandoval, Posey, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Giants, who trail by 1. Series even at a game apiece. Line drive, base hit to right. He's a machine. And Scutaro is 2 out of 3 in this game. He's had 2 hits in each of the first 3 games.
We talked about him the other night in such glowing terms, and those are only glowing terms that you can talk about him. I mean, he is a better hitter now at age 36 than he was at age 26. No ill effects from that collision the other night,
which is great to see. So he's on. Tying run is on to start the inning. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and after the first pitch, we'll go down to Kenny about more on Scutaro, involved in that collision 2 nights ago in game 2. Ball 1. Kenny, more on that?
Well, Marco Scutaro is a study in perseverance. He did not make his major league debut, Joe, until he was 26 years old. He's been largely anonymous throughout his career, but I spoke with 2 of his former GMs yesterday, J.P. Ricciardi, formerly with the Blue Jays, and Dan O'Dowd, still with the Rockies, and both those guys spoke about Scutaro in glowing terms. Everyone in baseball does.
Double play ball to Descalso. Cosma in the middle, 2 out. And the second double play hit into by the Giants, with Posey coming up.
The second example of how a runner has to get down with that shortstop coming across the bag.
We understand we've got some weather headed our way. That's been the forecast since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, originally yesterday they were saying it was supposed to hit hard and rain hard between 3 and 6 Central Time. Scoreboard clock has 4, almost 35, and they said about 5 it could get pretty nasty. Remember, in the postseason now, as opposed to the regular season, even though this game is during the regular season 1 out away from being quote unquote official with 5 innings, they play postseason games through 9. So that would be picked up later tonight, tomorrow, whatever had to happen weather-wise, but you don't have to worry about that. Getting a full 9 innings in, as the count's gone to 3-0 on Posey, who was intentionally walked his last time. Four-pitch walk with 2 out. Aaron Andrews wears many hats at Fox, and evidently one of them is meteorologist. Aaron, do you have more on the weather?
Well, my map is telling me it's not telling me. I'm talking to the grounds crew down here, and what they're saying is they think it's about 30 minutes away, and we're hearing everything from a ton of rain to a good amount of hail. And I heard they kept the tarp on it. And Joe, you're a resident here in St. Louis. Yes. How does this field do with weather conditions?
It does very, very well.
All right,
the
back
dugouts,
to you.
Thanks, Aaron. Here's a foul tip off the bat of Pence, and that did not feel good on Yadier Molina. So we'll just have to play through weather, evidently, and I think it's a good change that they did, Tim, when we were there in Philadelphia back in 08, as we take another look at this foul tip that got Molina on the thumb. That they say now, a postseason game, we're going all 9 innings no matter how long it takes.
No question. In the 2008 World Series, that Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game resumed in the bottom of the 6th. It was won by the Phillies, and they won the World Championship with a 4-3 win.
Here's the 0-1. Pence was up, by the way, sorry to cut you off, and bounced into that double play that ended the scoring chance for the Giants in their 3rd.
I was thinking about that foul tip, Joe, and a lot of times when the ball foul tips into the glove, people, even players, have a tendency to think that doesn't hurt, but it does. Here it is, middle of the plate cutter, right on the thumb. Not a lot of protection in that part of the mitt.
Pence is looking for his first RBI, let alone his first home run. Choked up on the bat, and he grounds to the shortstop, Cosma. Nice play to end the inning. Cardinals get a double play, turned in the inning behind Loesch, and we're halfway through game 3. Another good one. Series even at a game apiece. That guy put the Cardinals up 2-1. It's still that way. To bringing these games on Fox as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Dark skies from the beginning of the game had one quick burst of sunshine. Kozma first up, 8-9-1 for the Cardinals, up one. Good breaking ball from Matt Cain. That's been one of his best pitches here today. That tight curveball as he gets the outside part of the plate. 0-1. Kozma flied to right his first time. That's high. 1-1.
Matt Holliday telling us before the game that Matt Cain, one of the few right-handers in the National League, even though it seems to be a growing trend, where Matt Cain throws a changeup to right-handed batters. And I checked with Dave Righetti. I said, do you think that's true, Dave, that left-handers are throwing left-handed hitters more changeups and right-handers the same pitch? He said yes.
Here's a 2-1 on the outside corner. Strike two. Talk about having a pitching coach with credentials.
I'll say.
Dave Righetti is about as credentialed a pitching coach as there is in the big leagues. That's a line drive to Sandoval. 1 out. Righetti, the 53-year-old former left-handed pitcher,
started and relieved for the Yankees. Rags.
Big years, including 46 saves for the Yankees back in '86. 31 2 years before that. 31 after that.
Pitched a no-hitter.
Before that, pitched a no-hitter. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. Strike one to Loesch. Kyle fouled out his first time up.
This game so far, Joe, about as we expected. We talked about it in the opening. Now, with the two aces on the mound, you did not expect a lot of scoring, and there hasn't been.
Strike two. Got jammed. Sandoval to his left. What a good play. 2 out.
That's full extension right there. Good play by Pablo. Playing the pitcher off the line, so good positioning and good hands. Recovered in time to get Loesch.
Geico in-game box score. With 2 out, nobody on in the 5th. Cardinals have a hit from Jay. That single led to the 2-run shot by Matt Carpenter, who took over for Carlos Beltran after his first inning at bat. Other hits belong to Molina and Freese. There's a strike to Jay. Same situation in the 3rd inning. First 2 guys made outs. Jay flared a hit to left. Went to second on a wild pickoff throw, and then Matt Carpenter with 2 strikes homered to right. No swing, a ball, and a strike.
That's the thing. That was a slider in off the plate. And if you ask Matt Cain if he did to Carpenter what he wanted to do, I bet Matt would say yes. There's sometimes you just have to tip your cap to the hitter, and that was one of them.
Into left, this will carry to Blanco, and the inning is over. Cardinals go in order for the first time all game. Let's go to the 6th. Good game. National League Championship Series game number 4. Those are the 2 hitters, and we expect to see Tim Lincecum against Adam Wainwright. Bruce Bochy has been non-committal about his starter. It appears to be Lincecum. Zito a possibility, but it's one of those 2. Adam Wainwright will get the ball for St. Louis. This is Descalso. 1 out. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Why Kenny Lincecum over Zito tomorrow night?
Well, most likely it would be Lincecum because, Joe, if he pitches tomorrow night, you could have him in the bullpen for 6 and 7. And right now, the way Lincecum is throwing, that is something the Giants want.
Meanwhile, Zito, the Giants have won his last 12 starts. They haven't all been great, including his division series start against Cincinnati. He didn't make it through the third. But it was the Giants coming back to win that game, game 4. And it was Lincecum out of the bullpen that did the majority of the work to get the win with 4 innings.
Zito, by the way, is definitely available tonight. And maybe Lincecum. Maybe. If the Giants can get a lead and then it rains for 2 hours, I mean, it's conceivable that Tim Lincecum could be the pitcher when play resumes, if it resumes tonight. If it resumes tomorrow and the Giants have the lead, then Lincecum could be the pitcher tomorrow.
Trevor Rosenthal is getting loose. Count's gone to 3-0 on Blanco. Blanco is walked, grounded out, and he has to stay for a 3-1 pitch.
I think one of the reasons that Mike Matheny opted for Trevor Rosenthal is that there's such a disparity between Rosenthal and Loesch.
Dangerous broken back as that jagged end of it went sailing toward the 2 Cardinal bat boys. This thing just shattered.
That ball was almost hit on the sweet spot too.
Rosenthal is the right-hander in the bullpen. As you take another look at the foul ball and the broken bat, and Vicky was worried about that thing sailing into the seats. Or maybe one of the bat boys is her son. Who knows?
Who knows?
But they were in the line of fire, and thankfully it didn't get them.
Almost looked like twins.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Blanco had a good at bat his last time up, worked a walk. Having another good one here.
The bat disparity of Rosenthal. Trevor Rosenthal sometimes exceeds 100 miles an hour. Kyle Loesch, if he exceeds 90, it would be something. And he's rarely done it tonight.
Fly ball into left. Holiday to his right. 2 out. Tim Lincecum. They get the ball as a starter tomorrow night. You see what he's done out of the bullpen for the Giants, and as you talked about, and you talked to Bruce Bochy about it prior to game 1, it's a role that Tim Lincecum was not against.
No, not at all.
And they go back into the rotation tomorrow night against Adam Wainwright. But he is a weapon for Bruce Bochy, part of a very good and varied bullpen. Good pitch down to Crawford. Crawford's been on base twice with a walk and a single. Adam Wainwright, you know plenty about him after we had a chance to visit with him in the 4th. Lives in the Sea Island, Georgia area. Signed through next year. Here's a chopped foul off to the right. Count 0-2.
Joe, about 2 months ago, I was listening to a Yankee broadcast, and I heard David Cone say something that I've never heard before. He said when he pitched, he used to throw balls that looked like strikes and strikes that looked like balls. And that's the success of Kyle Loesch.
Line drive, base hit into right. And Crawford is on base for the 3rd time in game 3. And he went down to get it.
That's a strike that looked like a strike, and good hitting by Brandon Crawford. I've never heard that expression by a pitcher in my time. I thought it was very well put. pitching, as Johnny Sain used to say, is the art of fooling the hitter. And that's what Kyle Lohse has mastered, particularly this year.
Matt Cain dropped down a bunt his last time up. Now he's up there to swing. And he could be the last opponent for Kyle Lohse, one way or the other. 106 pitches on the day for Lohse, a loaded bullpen. Cain with a home run this season, 13 hits, 0 for 1 in this game. And Lohse is letting it hang out now, giving it all he's got. 0-2 the count. It's a one-run game, so Bruce Bochy keeps Matt Cain in the ball game by letting him hit here with 2 out. Line drive, base hit to right. Crawford will hold at second, and Cain with an 0-2 count gets a base hit. And now the decision for Matheny, and it's been made. Matheny is coming out of the dugout. Good piece of hitting by Cain to fight it off and get a base hit.
It was, and not to look back on it because we talked about it before it happened, but that's why you let Matt Cain hit and not bunt with runners on at first and third and 1 out.
That's it for Lohse. Cain knocks him out. Rosenthal coming in. Two on, 2 out for Angel Pagan when we come back. 108 was a base hit to right by Cain. Now 2 on, 2 out for Pagan. And Rosenthal, who can light up a radar gun and was a starter in the minor leagues, is settling into this bullpen role, and that's what he's done this postseason. He's got a fastball that can get up there at 100, and he's got a breaking ball that will get up there at 80 miles per hour. How calm is he in this spot? 2 on, 2 out. 1-1.
And again, it's the difference between Lohse and Rosenthal that makes Rosenthal even tougher to hit. About 8 to 10 miles an hour faster on that fastball is a lot to deal with for Giant hitters.
In game.
Yeah, in game, right.
There's the hook. It's low. Ball 2. Rosenthal had 3 stints with a big league club in St. Louis this year. This is his role for now. They figure him as a starter in the long term in this organization. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 2. 99. Pagan up in a key spot. 1 for 3 in this game. Tying run at second. Go ahead run at first. 2 out. 6th inning.
It's easier to pull the ball against Rosenthal if the fastball is down. If it's up, forget it.
The 22-year-old comes set. Out of play. So here's Kyle Lohse without a contract next year. 34 years old. He's been in 4 different organizations at the big league level. And in the pivotal game 3 of this NLCS, he hands the baseball to a 22-year-old kid learning how to pitch out of the bullpen. But with great stuff. Left side. Kozma gets the force. And Rosenthal comes in and shuts the door. A door that Kyle Lohse left open here in the top of the 6th. Let's go to the bottom half. St. Louis up 2-1. You see the numbers for Matt Carpenter. The biggest swing in that 5-for-5 came back in the 3rd inning of this game. A 2-out, 2-run shot. The only runs of the day for St. Louis. And Matt Carpenter was only in there because of the injury to Carlos Beltran, trying to leg out and avoid a double play back in the first. 2-1, bottom of the 6th inning. Edward Mujica, the right-hander, is getting loose for the Cardinals in their pen. Bullpen is quiet for the Giants. The 1-1. Cain finally retires Matt Carpenter. Had to be the thrill of a lifetime for Matt. What if you're Matt Carpenter's parents? Let's go to Erin Andrews.
And I'm with his parents, Rick Tammy and Matt's wife, Mackenzie. How about this? It was a last-minute decision to drive from Prosper, Texas. They went Griswold style. Woke up at 2:30 this morning. Got here right by the first pitch. How worth it was that 9.5-hour drive now?
Oh, it was awesome. We would have walked this far to see him do that. That's for sure.
Now, you're a well-respected high school coach in your town. Your son, a lot of success against Matt Cain, 5 for 5 with a home run. Why?
Well, it's just some guys, you see the ball better out of the hand. It's kind of hard to explain, and I think that's just the case there.
I know Mom doesn't want to talk, but I'm going to make her because she's cute. And she drove half the way here. You've seen some big moments for your son. In fact, he hit a home run on opening day. You were here. Where does that one rank, though?
This is exciting because it's the postseason. So that's awesome because he hasn't been in, and now he's in. And for him to hit the first home run, the first time up, that's exciting.
Who's driving the rest of the way home now?
We'll probably split it up again. Probably the same exact way we came. Good luck, you know.
Rick said he wished he had shaved. I think he looks great. Guys, back over to you. Congratulations.
That's Erin Andrews with the parents of Matt Carpenter, as Matt Holliday is in the hole 1-2, and Holliday is 2 for 10 in this LCS. We'll take you through that at bat by Matt Carpenter back in the 3rd inning, which right now is the difference in the game.
And a 5-pitch at bat that he'll never forget.
Cain does not have a strikeout in this game. Here is that at bat for Matt Carpenter and Matt Cain.
Those 2-strike home runs are tough to come by. Fastball for a strike on the corner, then a curveball for a strike with the count 0-2. Cain missed up, and here's the payoff pitch right here, the 2-2 slider. As we said earlier, I think Matt Cain got that ball right where he wanted to, and sometimes you just have to tip your cap to the hitter.
Holliday had a home run earlier in the playoffs this year, but has not hit the ball with great authority so far in this LCS. And he becomes the first strikeout victim of the day for Matt Cain. So Cain got to stay in the ball game, got a base hit, and now has retired the first 2 in the 6th.
Boy, hitting Buster Posey's mitt. Buster wanted it up. He got it up. And Holliday goes down.
We'll bring in Alan Craig, who's 0 for 2. Only one hit for this 3-4-5 combination. That was a 1-out single by Molina back in the 2nd. Strike 1 on the outside part to Craig. In the 7th, it figures to be Mujica. That has been the formula for Mike Matheny that's gotten him to this point. Cardinal manager. Mujica in the 7th, Boggs in the 8th, Mott in the 9th. There's a long way to go. The 0-1 pitch, ball 1. Big inning coming up with Scutaro, Sandoval, and Posey. Opportunity for the Giants with their good hitters coming up in the 7th.
Of all the Cardinal pitchers, of all the Cardinal hitters, the Giant pitchers have pitched Alan Craig the toughest. They get ahead by going away. They get him out by going inside. That's what Vogelsong did in game 2. And that's what Matt Cain did the last time up. He's 0 for 8 here in the NLCS.
Too far inside. It's 2-2. Only 76 pitches for Cain. He's been good. 93 from the right-hander. First round pick, 25th overall in 02, came up in 2005, and he just has made a living out of eating up innings for Bruce Bochy.
He's missed a turn in the rotation once in 7 years.
Here's a 2-2. That'll get out of play. That 2010 season, Tim talked about it earlier. Over 21 innings pitched, no earned runs against the combo of Atlanta, Philadelphia, and in the World Series against Texas. The 2-2. Got him. Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts of Holliday and Craig. That sends us into the 7th. 2-1 Cardinals back after this from your local Fox station. Only major pickup by the Cardinals at the trading deadline from Miami is into the game, and he gives up one off his glove right to Descalso. That was a good play all the way around. One out from Mujica to slow it down. Descalso to corral it, and then Craig to dig it out. One away.
So a 1. There's the 1. Here's the 4. Here's the 3.
That gets Scutaro, who was 2 for 3 prior to that at bat. So 2 for 4, and he is a tough out with Sandoval digging in. Pablo 1 for 3, a hit in the first, an RBI ground out in the third. That's when the Giants at second and third, nobody out, got only 1. Fly ball into left. That ball well hit. Holliday has it go over his head, but he will hold Sandoval to a single.
It's that time of night where seeing the ball clearly is difficult. Holliday, not that he went back right there, but he didn't move until the ball was on its way over his head. Had he moved immediately, he's got a better shot at it. But in fairness to Matt, he may not have made the play anyway.
Brings in Buster Posey, the biggest threat in this Giants lineup, and the guy they want up. As I mentioned earlier, a career .336 hitter with runners on. That's the third best average with somebody on base among active players. Cardinals have pitched around him twice. Ball 1 is up and in. Mitchell Boggs getting loose for either action here in the 7th or for sure in the 8th. 1-0 on the outside corner, strike 1. Posey didn't like it.
Buster thought it was outside. And again, he may have had a point. That's a wide plate right there.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. That pitch might have been a little better, and it's called ball 2.
Certainly over the plate more.
So they're even. 1 on, 1 out, 2-1 pitch. Hard hit, base hit into left field. Sandoval will stop at second. Posey his first hit of the day. And now it gets down to Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence is in the spot behind Posey to provide protection and does not yet have an RBI this postseason. Bounced into the double play after an intentional walk to Posey back in that 1-run third inning.
Yeah, and he had 104 RBIs during the season with the Phillies and with the Giants. There's no way to really defend Hunter Pence. The outfield is straight away, and that's where you have to play him. He's liable to hit it anywhere with any pitch. He scatters the ball.
And that's going to be it for Mujica. So Mike Matheny is going to make a double switch. He went with his formula despite Rosenthal getting out of that jam in the 6th. He used him for only 1 batter. He goes to Mujica, who gave up 3 pretty hard shots. 1 out, back-to-back hits. Pence coming up, Mitchell Boggs coming in. Alan Craig, the cleanup hitter, is gone. That's where the pitcher will bat. Matt Carpenter moves from right field to play first. And Shane Robinson is off the bench and will bat in the 9 spot and play right. Mitchell Boggs takes over. There are his numbers during this postseason. He can get wild. Pence likes to swing at a lot of pitches all over the place. 2 on, 1 out. And a ball from Boggs.
I was thinking the same thing, Joe. And it's hard to get wild with Hunter Pence hitting because of his wide strike zone. Wide and tall.
Lead man is Sandoval at second. He's the tying run. Trail runner is Posey at first. 1 out. 2-1 game, 7th inning. And that splitter from Boggs swung on and missed. Cardinal fans, I would imagine, will ask, why take Rosenthal out of the ball game? Trevor got that final out, and that wasn't a splitter. That was a slider. Either way, Pence out in front of it. Mujica got right into trouble. Now it's Boggs. 2 quick strikes after the ball on Hunter Pence.
Well, what makes Boggs such a tough assignment for right-handers? He throws a slider that backs up a lot. 2 straight sliders. And Pence is in the hole.
2 on, 1 out, 1-2 the count. Brandon Belt on deck. Just up and away. 2-2. Matheny sticking with his formula through the 7th, 8th, presumably into the 9th with a lead if he gets that opportunity. So it was Mujica to start the inning. Here's a 2-2. 2 out. And Pence is still without an RBI.
Back to the slider. So 3 sliders for strikes gets Pence.
And now Brandon Belt with 2 on, 2 out. The Giants have already stranded 9. Trailed by 1. They've hit into 2 double plays. Strike 1 to Belt. Sandoval and Posey hoping to get a chance to run. It's up to Boggs and Belt. Strike 2. Ball's down 1-2. Bochy's been through the MLB postseason battles. Matheny getting his first taste of it as a big league manager. Boggs and Belt. Who wins? Boggs. Back-to-back strikeouts of Hunter Pence, and the breaking ball corralled by Molina.
It was high enough and on the plate.
A punch out by Bill Miller, the home plate umpire. And Belt is out looking. We'll give you our Liberty Mutual game summary. Middle of the 7th, Beltran left the game. His replacement, Matt Carpenter, went deep in his first at bat. The only runs for St. Louis. Kane still in the game, and here's that big hit. The home run by Carpenter made it 2-1. It's still that way. It is nasty all around the ballpark from what I understand, but we will continue, as will Matt Cain. Another first pitch strike from the Giants right-hander who, Tim, has been so good here in Game 3.
So good all year for the Giants. And about what Bruce Bochy expected, even though he trails by a run here in the 7th.
Giants have locked him up. The long-term extension. He is as reliable as anybody in the game. 1 out. As Molina grounds to Crawford. What has Matt Cain done in 2013? It has been a perfect season with his perfect game. June 13th, first in franchise history. Started and won the All-Star game. Remember how everybody was calling for R.A. Dickey to start that game. Career high 18 wins is his Giants. And they are his Giants rotation-wise. Won the West. Here's Freese. 1 for 2. Ball 1. High definition look at rain falling. 1-1. Rain's one thing. There is some possible tornado activity in this area. Here's a 1-1. On the outside corner, strike 2. Freese has one of just 4 Cardinal hits today. Problem for the Giants, one of those 4 left the park. Off the bat of Matt Carpenter in the 3rd. Still got great life to the fastball. It's a 1-2 count.
Only 2 extra base hits in this game. One by Marco Scutaro and the other by Matt Carpenter, the big one.
Here's a 1-2 pitch from Cain. Ball 2. Part of the Cardinal lineup, 1 for 9 against Matt Cain. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball is hit into the corner. That will be extra base hit number 3 of Game 3. A 1-out double by David Freese.
Yeah, that was just a rolling breaking ball. Hanging on the inside part of the plate for David Freese.
Brings in Descalso. Descalso 0 for 2. He's popped up, fly to left. They're going to walk Descalso. Work to Cosma. Shane Robinson is behind Cosma after the double switch.
Yeah, I think this is as much an intentional walk, obviously, to get to Cosma and set up a possible double play. And then you have Shane Robinson hitting 9th. Came in on the double switch.
Nobody even throwing for the Giants out in their pen until right now.
And remember, the Giants have 4 left-handed pitchers in their bullpen. And it's been their strength throughout the postseason, that bullpen.
Javier Lopez, the left-hander, is going to get loose. But he just started throwing. Now Posey goes out. Cosma coming up. Cosma doesn't have a ton of hits this postseason. Perception is he's been red hot. Well, he's hitting only 172, but he's come up with big hits, including a 3-run home run in Game 3 of the division series in D.C. And then the game-winning RBI hit that scored 2 in the 9th inning of Game 5. They're shortened up on the infield. Runners at first and second, one out after the intentional walk to Descalso. First walk by Cain. Strike one.
One thing you do as a right-handed hitter in a situation like this is eliminate the off-speed pitch, because pitchers don't like to get ground balls from off-speed pitches. So it'll be a fastball or a slider to Cosmo.
That one misses, down and away.
Plus he hung the curveball to David Freese. That's why David's on second base.
Late swing and a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Strike two. Get out of play, off to the right. Cain's got this hitter and at least one more with a right-handed batting Robinson on deck. The lefty Lopez is getting ready for John Jay, who follows Robinson. Double by Freese, a walk to Descalso, one out. Two and two. Center field, a base hit. Freese is held at third on a strong throw out of center by Pagan. The bases are loaded, one out. Cosmo with a base hit to center. And that'll bring Righetti, the pitching coach, out to talk to Cain.
Angel Pagan not only has a good arm as a center fielder, perhaps the best arm for any outfielder on either side, but he charges the ball well. And a third base coach looks how an infielder charges the ball, and that's part of the decision whether to hold up the runner or not, and that's why Freese held.
Freese does not run well. He's had problems with his ankle and his feet. And Oquendo, who's one of the more aggressive third base coaches in the National League, held him, and that is the respect for Pagan. Cain stays in the game. And after another hit by Cosmo in a key spot, it's up to Shane Robinson. He hit .253 during the regular season, does not have a postseason hit.
Yeah, if there were two outs on that play, David Freese tries to score, but not with one.
Strike one. Shane Robinson got his most extensive taste of the big leagues this year. But a young player in a key spot for St. Louis. On the outside corner, strike two.
Boy, it's coming down right now. hardest it's rained all day. Right on the corner from Kane.
And a wide strike on Robinson. The rookie outfielder waits for the 0-2. To the right side. The play is at first. A run scores. Scutaro thought about coming home. Freese slides across to make it 3-1.
The reason Scutaro thought about coming home, the ball wasn't hit hard enough for a double play. And Marco's play is to first base. That's a dilemma for a pitcher. How do you entice a hitter in a double play situation to hit it hard enough to complete the double play? Well, Kane didn't.
And that's the end of the night for Matt Cain with the rain pounding down here in St. Louis. Lopez coming in. Jay coming up. Cardinals lead by 2 in the 7th. The crew chief Gary Darling said bring on the tarp, and with the rain coming down and severe weather in the area, we are in a rain delay. Cardinals have added a run, lead by 2, 3-1, bottom of the 7th inning, and when we resume it'll be 2nd and 3rd and 2 out with John Jay coming up. Lopez was brought into the game. Javier Lopez. A couple of things. We talked about it earlier, but it's worth bringing back that after the 08 postseason, Major League Baseball made the change, and now it is official that all of these games will be played a full 9 innings or however long it has to take an extra inning. They just see lightning in the distance, so probably a good thing they are delaying this game. That's a change that seemed like something for the better of the game.
Well, I think it was welcomed by baseball. I think it was welcomed by fans that no game should be shortened because of rain in the postseason. The interesting thing about tonight's game, the Cardinals have had 3 right fielders. 2 of the 3 have driven in all 3 runs. Matt Carpenter, who replaced Beltran with a 2-run home run, and now Shane Robinson, who replaced Carpenter as Matt moved to first base. So it's interesting that the 2 guys who didn't start drove in 3.
And those are the only runs against Matt Cain, as Matt Carpenter drove 1 out with a 2-2 count with 2 out in the 3rd. And a rather understated handshake from his hitting coach Mark McGwire. So Matt Carpenter, and that's what we said at the time, and that's really what we've learned over the years in the postseason. You have the usual suspects, the usual guys, but it's so oftentimes somebody you're not even thinking about coming to the ballpark that ends up becoming a star.
And I'm sure, as we mentioned it earlier, that's what Matt Carpenter was thinking. I mean, he gets up today, no way Carlos Beltran's the starting right fielder. He knew that. And then he's in the game in the 2nd inning, and boom, hits a 2-run shot.
The word on Beltran was something wrong with a knee. We don't have any more details about it. We'll certainly follow that as the night goes on, and then into tomorrow, Game 4, when Tim Lincecum is due to pitch against Adam Wainwright. But that's for tomorrow. Right now, if you're the San Francisco Giants, you had your ace on the mound. He turned in a very good start.
Very good.
In Matt Cain.
Right.
And now he exits. He's out of the ball game. Can't be the winner. Cardinals have a chance for more. And they did it with Loesch on the mound, who doesn't have the dynamic stuff. But he had the command in this game that Chris Carpenter did not have in his Game 2 start in San Francisco.
That's right. Loesch was the reason he's 16-3 on the season. The best winning percentage in Cardinal history for pitchers with 15 starts is minimum. Here, there, little off, here, there, jam you with a 88-mile-an-hour fastball. I think both pitchers tonight pitched, and that's what we thought they were going to do at the beginning of the game. Instead of throwing.
You're going all baseball veteran on me, a little
this, little that,
little bingo, bango, bongo.
Well, I like that. Yeah.
We are going to step aside, I think, thankfully, after the last minute. And we will send it to the MLB studios. Matt Vasgersian and the guys will take it, and we will get you right back to baseball here in St. Louis when we start again. Matt, it's all yours. There you go. Matt Carpenter, who replaced Carlos Beltran, who was injured running out what turned into a double play ball Carpenter hit the 2-run home run, replacing Carlos Beltran. And then you see the Giants 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They've left 11 men on and basically a 3.5-hour rain delay. But where are we? How did we get here? It's the 3rd inning of Game 3, and Pablo Sandoval with an RBI groundout. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. The Giants get only 1 because Posey followed after a walk to, Pence followed after a walk to Posey with a double play ball. Then Carpenter in his first at bat since taking over for Beltran. A 2-out, 2-run shot, 2-1 St. Louis. In the 4th inning, Matt Cain was up there, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. They asked him to bunt. He bunted the runner along, but then Pagan flied to center. Part of the runners left on, which is totaled 11. Then in the 7th inning, it was 2 on, 1 out. Boggs came in, struck out Pence, struck out Brandon Bell looking. The Cardinals added to a 1-run lead with an RBI ground out by Shane Robinson. Then the rain hit, and it hit hard. They pulled the tarp onto the field. And when I say it hit hard, look at that. What they have had to take off the tarp and now squeegee into those drainage holes that are out there just beyond the infield. And we welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That's Tim McCarver. Looks amazingly fresh 3.5 hours later. I know that's what you're saying to yourself.
I'm cold, however.
It is. The temperature really has dropped, and it's supposed to get colder as we go through the rest of the week. The good news is the rain evidently is out of here for the rest of the week. So as far as that's concerned, we should get through the rest of these games in St. Louis really uninterrupted. But let's talk about where we are. And that is in the bottom of the 7th, 2nd and 3rd, 2 out, John Jay coming up.
You brought it up before we went back on the air, Joe, that Mitchell Boggs, this in all probability, means that Mitchell Boggs is through for the night, and it's too early to bring in Jason Mott.
So we'll go down to the field level now and check in with Kenny Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Kyle Lohse, many moons ago, you actually pitched in this game. You allowed 12 base runners, but only 1 run. How did you assess your performance?
It was a battle. I mean, they put some good at-bats on me. They didn't leave the strike zone too much. You know, they were a lot more patient than teams that I've been facing lately, and they did a good job of getting those guys on base, and I just had to do a better job of keeping them from scoring.
We talked before about Scutaro, and he reached out on a pitch that he probably shouldn't have hit, double off it. You said he had a magic wand.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to pitch to a guy who so rarely swings and misses?
I mean, no disrespect to him. He's a great baseball player, and you know hitters like that really hardly ever swing and miss, and he's one of those guys that really does a good job of putting the ball in play, especially when the pitcher's ahead in the count. That pitch, I was trying to get a slider out there, maybe see if he chased. I mean, it was in the other batter's box, and he hit a double. And it's tough when a guy's able to do that, put you in trouble, especially in that situation where I had no outs. And yeah, that magic wand, I'll figure out a different way to get him out.
Matt Carpenter, he had to come off the bench. He hadn't played since Friday. How impressed were you by that two-run homer?
That's what we do a good job around here of guys stepping up when somebody goes down. It's been a theme pretty much all year, all last year, and you know he's been a guy that's waiting to get his chance. He's done a good job all year. Hasn't had a whole lot of ABs this postseason, and you know, step up in that situation and get a big hit like that's huge.
How about the rain delay and just coming back now? How does the team stay ready in a situation like this? It's been 3.5 hours.
Yeah, we had a good time in there. Watch some funny videos, listen to music, watch Chris Carpenter, who's right over my shoulder here, dance. That's always entertaining. A little bit of his singing kept us loose. So
it sounded like a tense playoff atmosphere.
You know, that's how we are. Just, you know, we get real tight in these situations and don't know what to do with ourselves.
Kyle, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
All right. Kenny's got to refer to Carpenter, who's back there mocking the entire situation. And every time we interview a Cardinal, there's got to be another guy standing there critiquing the interviewee.
Well, we interviewed Adam Wainwright earlier in the game. Rafael Furcal was right next to him. Adam Wainwright gave us his first, that I've heard, Rafael Furcal imitation. and Chris Carpenter, the genesis of that whole thing.
They just, I guess they travel in pairs. Is that the deal?
They seem to have a good time.
They do. So let's talk about this. We had an interesting situation. First of all, Kane was taken out with second and third, 2 out. And the minute Bruce Bochy came and got Matt Cain, with Lopez coming into the game, the rain hit, they pulled the tarp on, and we were in at the beginning of a 3.5 hour delay. There was an announcement that came over the speaker that's in our booth that even though when you bring a pitcher in, he's got to face a batter, because of the situation and the lengthy delay, he didn't have to. But Lopez, it appears, is going to go out there. Meanwhile, on the other side, I will guarantee you that it was Mike Matheny's intent to have Boggs work the rest of the 8th, rest of the 7th, then go through the 8th to get to Jason Mott. Now with the layoff after Boggs came in and struck out the 2 hitters he faced, he's got Fernando Salas up with Boggs in the dugout or in the clubhouse and Jason Mott next to Salas in case there's a hiccup in the next half inning.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Fernando Salas, but Boggs is your main 8th inning guy. So that 8th inning, the Cardinals could be a little more vulnerable without Mitchell Boggs. So we'll see. But a key at bat by John Jay right here with 2 runners on.
The runners will be at second and third with 2 out. And Lopez will, he got that little meeting from the crew chief Gary Darling before he got to the mound, and maybe they'll let him take the time he needs. Again, Lopez brought in, then the tarp came on. Lopez did not have to face a batter if the Giants didn't want to do that, but they're going to stay with their side-arming left-handers, making his first appearance of this NLCS. And it will be that confrontation with John Jay with runners on at second and third, Descalso and Cosmo. So basically 3.5 hours later, we are going to resume play with Jay at the plate. 1 for 2 on the night. Lopez was such a big part of it in 2010. Now they're going to repaint the batter's box. We forgot. I know we forgot something. What was it? And this grounds crew, they've been busy tonight. They've done a great job. And you can see Aaron Andrews asked before the rain really hit how this field is drainage wise. And the answer is it drained extremely well for the amount of water that was dumped on it. And so we will have the batter's box put back around home plate, and then Lopez will get a chance to continue his warm-up tosses.
Most of the new ballparks have great drainage facilities, and here in St. Louis, it's no different.
This ballpark that became the home to the Cardinals in 2006, it's just south where the old ballpark was, and it's an area just north of here that they're going to try and develop into retail space, which was part of the original plan, and the economy went south, and so did the plans for what they call Ballpark Village. That's now back on. So while Posey goes out to talk to Lopez, we'll give you tonight's State Farm Get to a Better State recap. Kyle Lohse made the start for St. Louis. 5 2/3, 1 run, 7 hits. Got into and out of trouble. And Matt Carpenter with the single biggest swing of the game so far. A 2-out, 2-run shot. That happened after the Giants got a run in the top half of the third. State Farm for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state. All right, we're glad you stayed with us. And now here we go. Second and third, 2 out. John Jay at the plate. Strike 1 from Lopez.
You said Javier is a side armor, and that's what makes him so difficult to hit if you're a left-handed batter. he drops down, and you want to bail out.
Lopez trying to keep it a 2-run game. He's got 2 quick strikes on John Jay. Officially a 3-hour, 28-minute rain delay. A few have left. Majority has stayed. With Contos, the right-hander, getting loose. But it's an 0-2 count on John Jay. Ball 1. The Giants in their half of the 8th inning will have the bottom 3 in their lineup. Gregor Blanco, Brandon Crawford, and then a pinch hitter. The 1-2. Slow roller up the first base line. It's foul. That ball had so much spin on it, Jay had to run in case it decided to veer back to the left and go into fair territory. It stays 1-2.
Here's that sidearm delivery of Javier Lopez. That's a 2-seam fastball in on the hands of John Jay. Throws the 2-seamer inside, the 4-seamer away, and that wicked slider. He's tough.
Part of a very good bullpen for Bruce Bochy. Another 1-2. And a ground ball to first. Easy for Belt to the bag. And to the 8th inning we go. Giants coming up. Trailing in game 3 by 2. Chambers takes over in right field. Shane Robinson makes the pinch hitting appearance. He is gone. Robinson bats in the number 4 spot. The pitcher's back in the number 9 spot for St. Louis, and that pitcher, even though Salas was up, is Jason Mott. There his numbers during the postseason: 2 saves. And the Cardinals and Mike Matheny asked for a 2-inning save from Mott, who leads by 2. First pitch is high for ball 1. Mott had a 2-inning save opportunity on June 17th against Kansas City and blew that save. He saved 42 during the regular season. He saved game 1 of this NLCS, and he deals with Gregor Blanco leading it off in the 8th. Into center. Jay is there. 1 out. Well, it goes without saying that if you're Mike Matheny and or Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, not only do you want a scoreless 8th inning, but you want a quick 8th inning against the bottom part of the lineup to not wear out the closer for the next frame.
15 pitches or less would be just fine with the Cardinals.
Harris, the left-hander, getting loose. There's Derek Lilliquist, who took over for Dave Duncan. As Mott will deal with Brandon Crawford, who's been on base 3 times. Takes a strike. On deck is Aubrey Huff. Top of the order will bat again for the Giants before the end of the night. And they'll need 1 base runner to guarantee that Buster Posey gets to the plate. Strike 2. Crawford walked in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, singled again in the 6th. That was all against Kyle Loesch, who was in line for the win if the bullpen can hang on to the lead. The 0-2. Ball 1.
Joe, you talked about Jason Mott. June 17th, the only 2-inning save this year. He did pitch 2 innings in game 5 of the LDS. He got the win in that game, giving up a run in the 8th inning. And then a perfect 9th.
Fouled back. There's Matt Cain, who was very good. 6 2/3. He allowed 3 runs on 6 hits.
Not a lot of trickery from Jason Mott. Here it is, hit it. But what you have to hit is usually a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Broken bat, fly ball into right. Chambers coming to get it. Just into the game, 2 out. Full swing, but Crawford broke his bat, and that ball didn't travel far for out number 2. And here's Aubrey Huff. Not much in the regular season, hit under 200, just the 1 home run. For a guy that was a focal point and a clutch performer for the Giants 2 years ago when they won it all.
One of the real leaders on this Giants club 2 years ago.
That puddle is actually in fair territory. Strike 1.
There are 2 of them in fair territory down the right field line. And there they are.
Popped up. Foul territory. Molina adjusts and make the catch. And it was a quick and easy inning. 9 pitches for number 30. Bottom of the 8th inning, game 3. Cardinals bat up 2. Bottom of the 8th inning rolls in. Jose Mijares will take over his 4th game of the postseason. And he's been impressive. Picked up from Kansas City, and a guy that has gotten some big outs for San Francisco out of their pen. Matt Carpenter first up, then Holiday, then Adrian Chambers. St. Louis leading 3-1. Bottom of the 8th inning. Ball 1 outside. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. George Contos, the right-hander. You got a lefty to start the inning, then the right-handed hitting Holiday, then the lefty Chambers. The 1-1. Strike 2. Beltran left after 1. Carlos injured his knee, and so Carpenter got the opportunity, and in his first at bat in the 3rd inning, hit a 2-out, 2-run shot to right. They made it 2-1 St. Louis. They lead 3-1. Now a 1-2 pitch. Got him looking, 1 away.
Good slider to get Matt Carpenter, and that may have kept Mijares in the ballgame. Had Carpenter gotten on, I doubt that he would have been pitching to Matt Holiday.
Instead, he will. Holiday 0 for 3, just 2 of 11 in this NLCS. 8 for 35 this postseason, 1 home run. In case you're joining us late, Matt Holiday was involved in that controversial slide at second base the first inning of game 2, and during the pregame introductions with the teams lined up along the 2 baselines, thumbs up from Holiday as Holiday gets hit with his own foul ball. The thumbs up was to Scutaro. Said, play good today, and then something along the lines of my bad. And those 2, in particular Scutaro, has handled that whole thing so well that we talked about earlier in the telecast. Bruce Bochy on that list as well, of handling it with class, and that's what you would expect out of this organization and those 2 guys in particular. And this got a lot of Matt Holiday. Back of the left ankle.
Yeah, not everything when you're big and strong is good. I mean, he's got great bat speed, a big guy. But the ankles that left one tender now.
Here's a ground ball to second. Scutaro gets the out, 2 out. The MLB playoffs continue tomorrow. It's Game 4 of the ALCS. The Yankees and Tigers at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. It's because Game 4 tonight was postponed. Then later, after the game, we'll be here. Game 4 of the NLCS. Here in St. Louis, coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. And a matchup. We know the Cardinals side for sure. It's Adam Wainwright. Here's Chambers, takes ball 1 down and away, and we are speculating it's Lincecum, the right-hander and 2-time Cy Young Award winner for the Giants on the other side. With 2 out, Chambers, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Edron Chambers is the 4th right fielder of the ball game, and we're only in the 8th inning. How many 9-inning games, and the Cardinals hope it's a 9-inning game, but how many 9-inning games feature 4 outfielders in 1 position? Well, this one has.
Chambers the latest. It started with Beltran. For more on Beltran, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, he left the game with a left knee strain. I'm told the injury is not that serious, that he could play tomorrow, but I'll add the disclaimer, we won't know more until tomorrow when he reports.
Okay, thank you, Kenny. So for Mike Matheny, at least it's not in the category of something that puts him on the shelf without a doubt. They're not too concerned about it. And what they got is Mijares lost his footing and he planted that front foot. Now digs at the area in front of the pitching rubber, his landing spot. Cardinals end up going to Matt Carpenter, and he delivered. In the 9th inning, the Giants will have the top of their lineup. Pagan, Scudero, and Sandoval. As Chambers takes a 2-out walk. And that should be it for Mijares. Contos is ready to go. Molina's coming up. Pitching change here in the bottom of the 8th in Game 3. Lotion line for the win. Right now it's Contos trying to keep it a 2-run game. The walk handed out by Mijares will bring in Molina and give Contos, who is now in his 6th game of this postseason, an opportunity here in the 8th.
He's been a real surprise for Bruce Bochy this year. Traded for Chris Stewart, the catcher with the Yankees, the backup catcher. The Yankees and Detroit game, by the way, postponed, and they will play at 4 Eastern time tomorrow afternoon on TBS.
Molina 1 for 3 with a single, 2 groundouts. Career high 22 home runs during the regular season. None so far in the postseason. Chilly night, might be tough to drive one out of here, and because of that, Contos and Posey will keep an eye on Chambers over at first. He can run.
Big lead by Chambers.
Just going to say the same thing, and he stays put on ball 1 high. On deck, David Freese. Right now it's Molina. Contos trying to give the top of the order for the Giants their best chance in the 9th. Fouled away for strike 1. Contos follows Kane, Lopez, Mijares to the mound for the Giants. Good pitch, strike 2. Jeremy Affeldt, the left-hander, is getting loose with Descalso lurking, but that's after Freese. It's up to Contos to end this 8th. Chambers, even with that big lead, is not even attempted to get a start over at first base.
Diving back to the outside of the bag. Makes it tougher. First baseman has to go about 3 feet farther to make the tag.
Got an even bigger lead now. Almost a half-hearted pitch out.
I was thinking the same thing, almost a quasi pitch out. Buster Posey stepping to the outside, actually in the left-handed batter's box. Contos threw it high. No chance for Molina to make contact.
There he goes. Chopper to the left side. Crawford plenty of time. And out at first as Belt almost came off the bat. Good play by Belt on the back end of that to dig it out. And Molina grounds out. We go to the ninth. Game 3, 3-1, St. Louis. And he will deal with the top of the lineup for the Giants. The right guys coming up. Pagan, Scudero, Sandoval. If anybody gets on, Buster Posey. And a 2-run game. And they're no longer packed in here at Busch Stadium, but loud nonetheless. Pagan 1 for 4. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Talked to Jason Mott prior to game 2 of this NLCS in San Francisco and asked him if he has consciously slowed himself down on the mound, because he was just frenetic when he was out there in the past, and he has. Pop-up, left side, freeze, foul ball, 1 out.
That's a common problem with a lot of closers. They come in overly amped. That was the case with Jason Mott. That's so important in the postseason, to take a step back.
He used to waste so much energy around the mound, behind it, getting the ball back, bouncing around, and now he's like a different guy. Here's Scudero. Strike 1.
There's an expression in baseball: hurry to lose, slow to win. And that certainly applies in the postseason.
Scudero's had another good night with the bat. 2 more hits. He's had 2 hits in every game, and now he's in the hole 0-2. 99 from Jason Mott. Defensive swing by Scudero on a pitch that jumped in there at 99.
Some pitchers, you have to make them get it up. With Jason Mott, hitters try to make him get it down. Very difficult to handle that letter high fastball, even if you know it's coming.
Here's an 0-2. Right side, Carpenter stops it, flips for the out, 2 away. Carpenter came up as a third baseman. Earlier in this game was in right, and now over at first, just knocked it down and then fed Mott for the out.
There's a big difference, Joe, in having a 2-run lead in the 9th inning as opposed to 1. That gets the infielders, the corner infielders, third baseman, first baseman, off the lines. And because he was off the line, Carpenter was able to make that play.
Here's Sandoval, 2 out, nobody on. The big threat for the Giants in the on-deck circle, and Buster Posey. Strike one. A high strike, and Mott has been getting that from the home plate umpire, Bill Miller. Sandoval with 2 hits and an RBI tonight. Trying to extend it. Bring up Buster. It's been all heat from Mott.
Don't expect him to lower it either.
Picked up 5 outs with 18 pitches. And he's 1-2 on Sandoval. Posey just wants a chance on deck. That is up to Pablo. Into center. Jay. Game over. Cardinals take game 3 up 2 games to 1 as they win it 3-1 behind Loesch and Jason Mott. It's a 3-hour, 2-minute game. Loesch is 2-0 this postseason. Matt Cain pitched well but suffered his second loss. And that man getting the high five just got his 3rd save this postseason.
I thought you said he slowed things down.
Well, now he's speeding up. And Mark McGwire goes through Mott's beard on his way off the field. Interesting tradition. You talk about a guy that puts everything he's got into a pitch.
19 fastballs in a row for 6 outs. Most of them high.
And this loose group here in St. Louis almost feel like they're playing with house money. Up 2 games to 1. Let's go down to Erin Andrews.
Joe, thanks so much. Matt, not only were you asked to fill in for an injured Carlos Beltran, but then you have a huge hit against Matt Cain. What is it about you facing Matt Cain? 5 for 5 with a homer now.
I don't know. You know, he's a really good pitcher, obviously, and you know, I've had some success, but, you know, I just go up there and I try to battle, get a good pitch to hit, and, you know, today I was fortunate enough to get one of those.
And you do it with your mom and dad, who woke up at 2:30 in the morning, drove 9.5 hours to get here. What's it like having a moment like that, knowing your parents are in the stands?
Man, it's awesome. You know, that's why you play. You know, my dad's the reason that I made it at this point in my career, so to have them here tonight to see that was a lot of fun.
Your dad, we know he's a big-time baseball coach in high school in the Texas area. What do you think the first thing he'll say to you is?
He just said congrats, you know. I mean, this is one of those goals we've accomplished together. So, you know, today was a dream come true.
Thanks so much. Congratulations. Let's send it over to Ken Rosenthal now.
Thanks, Aaron. Here with Jason Mott. Jason, long rain delay. When was it determined that you would go for the 2-inning save?
I was in the clubhouse. They said if we didn't score, I was going to go out there. So I was just in the dugout or the clubhouse running around. I've never really had to sit around like that. I was probably the most nervous I've ever been. I mean, I was sitting out in the bullpen doing all kind of junk, but like I said, they told me in the clubhouse, so I was going out there trying to get myself ready.
8th inning went easily, 9 pitches. How much did that help?
Big. I mean, you know, it's always big. Go out there and get the first guy out. You know, that's the big thing. That's all we try to do. Go out there and get the first guy out. After that, it's just execute your pitches and try to get the rest of the guys. I was able to do that tonight.
Ready to go 2 innings tomorrow?
Sure. Sign me up.
Jason, thank you very much. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you. It took 33 minutes to complete Game 3 after a 3-hour, 28-minute delay. A reminder that coming up next, except on the West Coast, your local news. And then we ask you to join us tomorrow night from here in St. Louis, Game 4 of the NLCS. Our coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 locally, and then 4:30 Pacific. For more information on tonight's game and other Major League Baseball news, log on to foxsports.com, powered by MSN, the world's favorite sports site. For Tim and Kenny and Aaron, I'm Joe. Join us tomorrow night for Game 4 as we say goodnight. After a long evening in St. Louis, here's Jack White and the White Stripes.